Ooh, we're getting close. There's only 3 left. Can you guys even, maybe even before you watch the video, you should just go to the comment section and tell me what you think are your top 3. More, what are my top 3? I don't know. I know what they are. Do you know what they are? We're going to get to it right now. Well, in the number 3 position, I had to put my camera at some weird angle like this because you guys just think, Biggs, you're totally whack, so it may as well be on an angle. It's all weird. You guys have to strain a little bit to look at it. But number 3 position is a species that is absolutely near and dear to my heart. You guys may already guess what it is. It was definitely going to be in the top 3. You kind of been wondering, hey, Biggs, why isn't that in your list so far? That's because it's in the top 3. And in the number 3 position is Steatocranus casuarius, the beautiful African blockhead, the buffalo head, the bump head, whatever you want to call it. This is an absolutely outstanding West African riverine Congo species that I absolutely love. You guys have seen the videos where the buffalo roam, and you've seen the adventures of me setting up this Congo tank and the misadventures, etc. But this fish has been endeared to me since the very, very early 80s, and it'll stay with me for the rest of my life. I absolutely love this fish. In the 3 spot, number 3, Steatocranus casuarius. Oh, there's only 2 more to go. You guys have no idea. You know, Biggs is, he told you already, he was passionate into Tanganyikan cichlids for like 13 years. And he's playing with some West African stuff. And he's been breeding fish his whole life. And then he spent the past, 25, 30 years working with all the New World stuff. You guys have no idea where I'm going to be going with this. But the number 2 spot is another species that is so incredibly near and dear to my heart. This species, I've kept this fish on and off for decades. I don't have them right now. Whether I actually go and venture keeping them again, I actually was able to successfully spawn this fish. So it puts me into a very special group. I know the fish is a lot more readily available than it ever was back in the day. But this fish, I absolutely love it. It's a challenge to keep for some people. It needs impeccably good attention to detail, to water quality. Otherwise, it just starts to pit up. It's a very, very challenging fish to keep. To feed, no problem whatsoever. But the fish in question is Hoplarchus psittacus, the papagayi. And that is basically the Portuguese word for parrot. And psittacus basically refers to parrot. So this is not the much aligned. If you like it, hybrids and stuff, good for you. They have their own purpose in the hobby. You like them, great. Not my thing. I like the true parrot cichlid. The true parrot cichlid, Hoplarchus psittacus. This fish is an outstanding fish. It's fairly wide distribution all over Brazil, Venezuela. It comes from a couple of different watersheds, even though there's still only the 1 species. Now, a lot of them in captivity, if you get the ones out of the Rio Negro, they seem to be a lot more challenging to keep. They're very solitary. They're rarely caught in any numbers. They're always solitary in the wild and until they come together to breed. But the ones from the Rio Negro are very, very challenging to keep. They come from the black water type habitats. However, Psittacum has also been found in the Rio Orinoco area, and it's found throughout that watershed, which is predominantly whitewater. And whitewater habitats generally have a lot more silt and sediment and other products in the water chemistry. So obviously the fish that come from whitewater are actually in the aquarium hobby tend to be a lot more hardier. And they can withstand water chemistry changes and parameter changes a lot better than the true blackwater stuff. The blackwater stuff is extremely sensitive to changes. So we've addressed that. Now, very, very rarely do I see Psittacum in anybody's home, or in their home aquarium, that doesn't have neuromast erosion, where they get all that pitting around the frontal area of their face. Well, they don't have any scalation in that whole frontal area, and their lateral line is the sensory system. It's basically the nerve endings. You and I, we touch things with our fingers, and that's our sensory. That's how we touch. We use our mouth, we taste. There's receptors in there that give us sensations of texture and so forth. Well, fish, they don't really have that. They have a nervous system that runs the length of their body, and you'll see it as these little tiny pits. They call it the lateral line. And those little tiny dots are basically little pores where the nerve endings come out. And they sense different things within the water, and that alerts them to different things that are going on. However, in the frontal area, without any scalation, they're extremely sensitive to things. And what happens when the water parameters aren't good, they start to erode those pits and they start to get these different holes and stuff. In the hobby, they've often been called, things like hole in the head or hexamida. These are hole in the head. Yes, you can call it that if you want, because again, it's like a common name, but hexamida is actually a pathogen that gets in and causes these problems. And in a lot of cases, that's not it. Without a microscope, you're not diagnosing whether it's hole in the head or hexamida versus just poor water parameters. But the water parameters are something that we can control. So Holoparchus psittacus, there's very, very few people that I know of that have spawned the Rio Negro variant. Mr. Wayne Leibel, dear friend, and Dewey and Dolores Shear from Wet Thumb Aquatics, and maybe a couple others that are on that specific list. However, the other one, and it's not a different species, the one that we more commonly see, and we often see it in the trade with these pictures, and I think they're a little bit enhanced where they look like they're blue. Well, if they're kept in harder water, the one from the Orinoco system, which is generally white water, if it's kept in harder water, they generally will look that blue color. But if they're kept in exceptionally soft water or like a black water type aquarium like the Amazon tank behind me, then they lose that and they go more to that green with the cryptic banding and stuff. Now, the one from the white water has been spawned fairly, I don't want to say regularly because definitely not the case. But I can tell you, I know of at least 5 individuals in Canada that have spread it, that have bred that species, and I'm fortunate to be in that group. One in Winnipeg, one in Saskatoon, and I could probably say there's probably a handful of other ones as well. And I know there's going to be the same handful of people in the States as well. Absolutely outstanding fish. My number 2 choice is Holoparchus psittacus, the real parrot cichlid. So what are you guys thinking? You agreeing me with on any of these yet? Or any of these fish on your top 10 list? Let me know in the comments section. There's only one left. There's literally only one left. We've counted down from 10. We've even done the honorable mentions. We've gone all the way to 3, 2. There's only first place left. I think I'm just going to make you guys all mad. I can't even imagine he's going to say something like the Oscar. Oscars are awesome. They should have made the list. Convict cichlid, awesome. They should have made the list. There's all sorts of fish that definitely could have made the list. But my number 1 choice, and I'm not going to tell you for a bit. I'm going to tell you the story why it's my number 1 choice. This fish is the fish that truly introduced me and took me from the hobbyist level to the science side. And this was the fish that that really kind of cemented in me my interest in working and studying those little tiny dental structures, those bony structures known as pharyngeal mills or dental plates or pharyngeal plates. And that was really the thing. It's one of those things that's a defining characteristic of cichlids, what makes a cichlid besides other things. But it was one thing that really, really caught my attention. And this particular cichlid is the one that really cemented that fascination with cichlids. I would always spend time with these little tiny bony structures. I did thousands of dissections. I had thousands of these little tiny dental plates, and I would study them because learning about those dental plates will tell you so many fascinating things about how this species lives. There are dental structures on these plates that'll have little comb-like structures for any of the ones that are true off-watch scrapers or the algae scrapers, and they use for scraping the product and then for filtering the product out to get the edible parts out. There's all sorts of different things. There's some that have mixed dental plates with different types of structures. And then in case for the one we're going to be talking about, the one that has actually made the number 1 spot, it has large conical molliform structures, almost like molars, like structures all over its dental plate of different size. And the reason being, this species diet primarily was comprised of mollusks. It's a snail eater. So clinching the number 1 spot, and I know you guys are going to be mad, but the number 1 spot for me in my top 10 of cichlids worldwide is Heterotilapia boudicaupheri. the Buttercofferi cichlid, the Bumblebee cichlid. It's gone by so many different names. Poor man's frontosa. Yes, it's a tilapia. A tilapia made Biggs's top 10. Not only his top 10, the #1 spot of his top 10. You guys hate me, I know. It is what it is. But I think it's an absolutely outstanding fish. It has such incredible behaviors. If you've got a 100+ gallon tank that you can dedicate to a pair of these, when they spawn, they know they've got that job done good. They spawn like a large Central American. They're incredibly robust. They're incredibly strong. A big tilapia buttercofferi I often see in a pet store as a single rogue adult because somebody made a bad decision. and people buying those going, will this go in with my? And I like, yeah, briefly. But if that male ever all of a sudden decides to become territorial, a lot of the other fish don't have the strength. And what I mean by that, when we talk about the musculature, if you take something like a dovi, very, very strong muscular fish, but it has a large jaw for grabbing prey and bringing it in. Patinia splendida, peacock bass, those type of fish, even more so have a real protrusible, but it's a soft mouth. Tilapia buttercofferi is all about business. Short, heavily muscular, and a dental plate for doing damage. This is a fish that can pound on anything and has the teeth to do it. This isn't a fish that's trying to eat fish. This is a fish that's just trying to kill or tell everything that invades its space to get out. And if you are keeping a mixed tank and you got a tilapia buttercofferi in there, you should really respect that. To get all the other fish out, especially if you have a pair of them. Because a pair of them in a 180-gallon tank, I don't think even silver dollars and some of those large, robust characins and other fish that we use as dither fish, I don't think they're going to survive. So without question, clinching, the #1 spot for me is the Buttercofferi cichlid. Now, you guys have seen some of these different videos and stuff like that. I have to thank some very, very dear friends. I'm going to put all their names in the description, but I've had so many of my friends, I had to call in some favors. I needed some pictures and some video and stuff. These are a lot of fish I haven't kept in decades. Where am I going to get video of this, especially with the way the world is today? So I thank you all very, very much, my dear friends, for your contributions to this video series. I hope you guys all enjoyed it. I had a lot of fun. And I bet you we can do this again next year as Big gets older and Big's getting a little bit more senile. The top 10 might change. I don't know. But make sure you guys go down to the comment section. If you like the video, give me a thumbs up. Leave me a comment at the bottom. We'll have a little bit more of a discussion about it. I'm going to kick myself in the backside, knowing full well within minutes of you guys watching this series, you're all going to come in and go, what about this one? What about this one? And those are all ones that would have made the list. So that's my list for now, my friends. Thank you kindly for watching. Till next time, take care.